Yes, sir. It's your boy Jelani Goodrich Reed, and welcome into the latest edition of Read Between the Lines. That is RBTL. I am back for yet another episode. A quick one. I think this will be quicker than usual. Today, I'm just trying to give you my midseason NFL awards. That's what this episode is all about. Yes, I know that NBA is going on right now in full swing. The Warriors looking good. Rookie of the Year race right now between Duarte, Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Green is looking really interesting there. You're seeing how the Lakers are doing things out west, and can the Heat emerge, the Bulls emerge in the Eastern Conference. Also, the Wizards, they're what are they first in the East right now? So yeah, things are playing out in the NBA for sure. So I'll probably bring out or have an NBA episode, NBA a strictly NBA basketball episode pretty soon. However, right now, you know what the deal is. The NFL right now at the midway point, we're looking at teams and we're saying to ourselves, okay, we see the real from the fake now. We see who's contending, we see who's pretending. So that's why today I wanted to give you my midseason NFL awards since we are here. But again, make sure to listen to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, or wherever you get your podcasts, Anchor FM as well. And on Instagram, I am there as well. You can find me at the RBTL show for episode updates and my takes. But let's get right into it, okay? Shall we? So, the NFL, again, at the midway point. So, I have to give you my awards. So, let's start. Let's start off with the big one. All right. So, the big one has to be the MVP. And right now, my MVP, Lamar Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I know. He just had a tough game against Miami on Thursday Night Football. They dropped that one. So now the Baltimore Ravens 6-3. Look, I understand this was a game where you were expecting Lamar and company to win, right? To easily win against the Miami Dolphins. But the thing is that they just didn't come up to play. They didn't have a good game plan. All right. First of all, the Ravens did not execute their game plan, I should say. They didn't protect Lamar at all. Or okay, during the game. So when I'm watching it, I'm saying to myself, it's not really his fault. It's not his fault that they're not winning this game. So why is he still the MVP, you ask me? Despite that blunder, despite the fact that he had a bad game against the Bengals. Remember that one? Well, look here. A lot of the guys in the race, whether you're talking about Matthew Stafford, who's had tough games against the Titans. Remember that one against the Cardinals. You're talking about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, who is my runner up right now for MVP. He's also had tough games. Look at the game against the Saints. Remember that one? And you also look at the fact that he did not show up in SoFi Stadium. So a lot of the guys that are being talked about for MVP have also had more than one bad game. It is true. It is true. Kyler Murray, maybe not, right? We haven't really seen him play too bad, but he's missed some time. So that knocks some points down for him. Dak Prescott, he's missed some time, and that game against the Broncos wasn't that great. So when you're looking at it from that perspective, Aaron Rodgers as well, he's missed the mark on one game. Remember week one. So I'm looking at Lamar Jackson for MVP. Why am I looking at him for MVP? Look at his stats right now, guys. Sixth in passing, as we speak right now, sixth in passing, fifth in rushing. May I say more? Like, I don't even have to say anything else. He's top 10 in those categories. He's kept the Ravens afloat. Let's be honest with ourselves. All their guys on IR, excuse me, all their guys banged up. He's had to deal with the team's injuries, certain coaching issues, broken plays that we saw against the Dolphins. Not all his fault, right? The bad offensive line. Like, I mean, on Thursday night, he's dealt with so many things in Baltimore this season, and still, he's managing to keep these guys in the race for the AFC. He's dealt with a lot. All right. So when you're talking about the word valuable, who is more valuable than this guy? I don't see it. I would probably say Derrick Henry, but Henry's not here. He's hurt. So when you're looking at who is the most valuable player in football right now, it's definitely Lamar Jackson. He accounts for 82% of their yardage on offense. 82%. Hello? In the words of Rob Parker, is this mic on? Clean out the earwax out of your ears. Hear me loud and clear. 82% of the yardage that the Baltimore Ravens have picked up this season, 82% of it comes from Lamar Jackson. All right, so look at it. The Ravens have 3,727 yards this season as we speak. All right, and Lamar Jackson has 3,086 of that. What? Are you serious? Yes, I am serious. Okay, he's also led these guys in double-digit comebacks. They have been the comeback kids this season. That's usually what we call the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are nowhere to be found right now. So, yeah, I'm giving it to Lamar Jackson right now. I think he's the best player in football. We've seen it. We've seen it time and time again. Now, offensive player of the year. This is a wide receiver I'm giving it to. It's Cooper Kupp. It's Cooper Kupp. Why? Well, let's look for his stats. All right, let's look for what he's done. He's on pace to get north of 1,900 yards. All right, and he's probably, if he continues this pace, he's probably going to beat Megatron's record that he got in 2012. Calvin Johnson. Remember, Calvin Johnson had that monster year in 2012 where he had 1,964 yards receiving, right? And that was something that we thought wouldn't be touched for a while. Well, Cooper Kupp is on pace for that right now. He's doing things that Jerry Rice has done. Hello, Cooper Kupp became the first player since Jerry Rice, the GOAT, with 1,000 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns in the first 9 games of a season. So he's at 1K and 10 touchdowns. He's playing lights out right now. We see it from Stafford. Stafford's also in that MVP talks as well, for sure. But yeah, it's just the way that he's been connecting with Stafford. It's been great to watch, right? He's just on pace. And again, here's another thing he's on pace for. He's on pace to become the 5th player in the Super Bowl era to lead the league in all the 3 major receiving categories. That's Cooper Kupp. That's who he is. He's been this. He's always been one of my favorite receivers in the league. And now that Stafford is there, and now that all these superstars are in LA, they're getting a lot more buzz. And that means that a lot of people are talking about Cooper Kupp now. I'm so happy about it because this guy's been under the radar for some reason the past few seasons, but he's been good. He's been doing this. I'm happy for him. I think he's right now, he's the offensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year, TJ Watt. All right, TJ Watt. I think a lot of people are going to say, what about Aaron Donald? What about Myles Garrett? Look, Myles Garrett was my pick going into the year for sure. But TJ, first of all, he should have won last year. I think it was robbery. But this season, he's done things that really make him deserve the award. We're seeing the 11.5 sacks right now. But what I'm pointing at is that yes, Garrett, yes, Aaron Donald are there for sure. They're there. They're in the discussion. I think Darius Leonard is in this discussion. If Trayvon Diggs can continue getting interceptions, probably that puts him right back atop the race. But in almost 100 less snaps than Myles Garrett and almost 200 less snaps than Aaron Donald, the stats are identical. TJ Watt has a similar amount of sacks, pressures, QB hits, and tackles as Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald, despite the fact that he's had almost 100 less snaps than Garrett and almost 200, almost double that of Aaron Donald. So, and I'm looking at games, for example, look at the Seattle game, how big he came up in that one, whether it was pressuring Geno Smith, hitting Geno Smith, strip sack. This guy won that game by himself. Pittsburgh won that game because of TJ Watt. That is something that really merits this award. I'm going to say right now as we speak, it's TJ Watt. Now, offensive rookie of the year, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase from LSU. A lot of people were like, "Oh, can he catch the ball?" Because in the preseason did have certain struggles with it. I think that he was going to be fine regardless. First of all, it's the preseason. All right, but he's just sensational right now. He leads the AFC in receiving yards as a rookie. I think that that should really end the debate. And yes, the runner up right now for me is Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is a guy who's had a good year. I think that he's probably going to lead the Patriots to the playoffs. If he does lead them to the playoffs and the Bengals don't manage to get to the playoffs, I honestly think that the voters will probably give it to Mac Jones. But yeah, I just think Chase is having a great year. And when you're looking for his stats, he has 835 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he's also averaging 20.7 yards per catch. So he's definitely causing some damage with Joe Burrow on that offense. Give it to him. And yeah, again, I'm just impressed that he's leading the AFC in receiving right now. Defensive rookie of the year, I think this is the consensus pick right now. Micah Parsons of my Dallas Cowboys. Come on. What else is there to say? He's just a menace out there. Whether it was him being put on the edge at linebacker, blah, blah, blah. He will get you some great reps. He will give you great reps, great work out there on the field. He's fast, he's quick, he can get through blocks, he can make these tackles, pressure the quarterback, get in your face. Like, what else can you say about him? He's a sensational guy. I love him for the Cowboys locker room. I think that he's a great guy in terms of just a spark. Right? I was talking about it earlier in the year. The Cowboys needed a spark on defense, and we've seen it. So look at his stuff right now. He has 52 combo, 38 solo, and 14 assisted tackles. Okay, so when that's all his tackle stats right now. He's definitely doing work, like I said, in terms of tackles for loss. I think we see it a lot. We're seeing 10 for him right now. He has 5 sacks on the year. And he's hit the quarterback too. He's gotten to the quarterback, 14 QB hits right now. So, guys, when you're looking at it, you'd probably say second place right now, Pat Surtain of the Broncos, who I wanted in the draft over Micah Parsons. But no, Micah has come in here. I love that he has a star on his helmet because he's a game changer. If he keeps this up, he will be a perennial Pro Bowler in the NFL. That's how he's looking right now. He has the talent to be that. He has the talent to be one of the best defenders in football, right? And what he's done for the Cowboys, he's boosted the Cowboys defense. So you have to give him the award here. He has 90.5 passing rush grade this season, according to Pro Football Focus. All right. He's the only rookie over 74. The only rookie over 74 in terms of that. So if you're just talking about it for what it is and the impact that he's had on a unit, it's Micah Parsons for sure of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, moving to comeback player of the year. Comeback player of the year, I got to give it to Dak Prescott. Got to give it to Dak Prescott. Look, Dak has definitely been somebody that has been the MVP talks. He has, let's face it, whether you like him or not, he has been in the MVP talks. Probably not as much anymore just because he obviously missed that game against Minnesota due to his calf. And the game against Denver, it wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. But he's had a great year, right? When you're looking at the fact that his ankle was destroyed last year, right? This time last year, he was still hurt, recovering from that gruesome injury. He comes back week 1 against Tampa, even though it was a loss. It looked like nothing happened to him. He got better, and he's made this offense better. We're talking about the Cowboys offense being one of the better offenses in the league. We're talking about it being one of the more lethal passing attacks in the league. And that's because of Dak Prescott. So give him comeback player of the year. And then coach of the year, I would give it to Cliff Kingsbury right now. Cliff, he has the Cardinals at 8-1. Okay, so that's first of all. Second of all, you're seeing a game like the one they just had against their division rival, the San Francisco 49ers. And when that game happened, I thought that the Niners were going to win. Why? Because there was no Kyler Murray and there was no D Hop. They weren't playing. DeAndre Hopkins wasn't playing. But guess what? They still made sure to get the W. They're finding ways to win games. And let's talk about their offense, okay? Led by, again, MVP candidate in Kyler Murray, but also Cliff Kingsbury. They're first in points and in touchdowns, and then they're second in scoring drives. So when you're looking at it from its entirety, it's definitely Cliff Kingsbury for me. Just also because they didn't make the playoffs last year, right? And a lot of awards like these for Coach of the Year are given to guys that could find a way to get them there, to get a team that didn't make the playoffs the year before to the playoffs. I believe that there won't be a collapse like the 2020 Cardinals had. I think the 2021 Cardinals are actually a different type of team. I think that they have definitely a chance to make a deep run this year. So yeah, I give it to Cliff right now. Now, just some storylines. So let's look at the outlook. Let's look at the outlook for this season. The second half of the season, I should say. Let's start off with Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, to the Rams. I didn't get to talk about this. This is a big move. Obviously, this is a massive move. We thought that he was probably going to go to a team like the Packers. The Packers finished second in the sweepstakes. And what's also big is that Robert Woods is done. He's out for the year. He injured himself in practice. Okay. It was a ACL injury. That sucks. I like Robert Woods and what he's done with Cooper Kupp this year. And Van Jefferson has been very impressive. So now you're expecting OBJ to get in there. Is OBJ going to be wide receiver 2? I don't necessarily know. I don't think it's automatic because I think they're really impressed with what they've seen from Van Jefferson this season. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, the targets are going to be different now for Cooper Kupp and for Jefferson. Not because Woods is out, but also because you bring in OBJ. And we know how that divorce ended in New York, and then we know how it ended just now in Cleveland. The Cleveland divorce was not pretty. It was not pretty. And let's face it, I wanted him to leave. I wanted him to be traded because it seemed as if they couldn't get him the ball. Why do you have a guy like this out there and you're not going to get him the ball? I believe his last game with the Browns, he either had 2 targets or 1 target. He didn't do anything because the ball wasn't thrown his way. But now, this is the chance for him to resurrect his career. A lot of people think he's fallen off. A lot of people think OBJ is not OBJ anymore. I still believe in OBJ. I like OBJ, right? I think that this is a chance for him not only to resurrect his career in terms of showing people he can still do it, but also this might be his last stop. Let's say that he starts complaining about targets. Let's say he starts complaining about things, in terms of locker room, in terms of, his stats being down, in terms of Cooper Kupp, who's having an historic year, getting more attention than him on the offense. Let's say those things are being said by OBJ. Who is going to want to take this guy after this year? Remember, he's a free agent. He's a free agent. So who's going to want to take this guy if there's more drama, attached to his name? So I think that OBJ has to be a good soldier in this case. He was in Cleveland. Honestly, he was until the very end. The end. I mean, his dad posting that video about Baker Mayfield not getting him the ball and OBJ being open so much. I mean, that wasn't a pretty look. You don't want the family members being involved in anything team related. But through it all, he was a good soldier. Why? He didn't really make too much noise. He wasn't causing issues in the locker room. Guys like John Johnson, they said they wanted him to stay in Cleveland. They liked him for the locker room. They liked what he brought to the culture. Now in LA, I mean, the bright lights, right? Hollywood sign, palm trees, everything's set up for you now. SoFi Stadium. Where's the Super Bowl? Oh, yeah, it's in LA. It's in LA. So OBJ has to come up big. But it's not just him. It's Sean McVay and it's Matthew Stafford. There is no excuse. I don't want to see no excuses. I know Robert Woods is hurt. I get it. And that was your wide receiver 2. At times, number 1. But guess what? You have OBJ there. You still have Van Jefferson. You still have Higbee. You still have Cup. You still have your MVP type guy right now in Matt Stafford. Oh yeah, by the way, Von Miller's on the defense now. When did that happen? Oh yeah, recently. They just got Von Miller, one of the better defenders of our generation. And if Von Miller, if he could get back to, imagine he gets back to form that we saw in the mid 2010s. Oh my gosh. With Aaron Donald? With Jalen Ramsey? These guys are on the same team. LA, they know what to do. You're like the Lakers. You're like the Dodgers, bringing everyone together, bringing all the stars together. Let's make it work. You have to make it work. If they don't make this work, and I'm really, really talking about Sean McVay and Matt Stafford because they're the leaders of this. Sean McVay being the head coach, he knows what he has to do. He has to make everything come together and work. He's the boy genius. He's the boy wonder. Everyone's talking about Sean McVay being the next guy in terms of coaching, right? This is your time. We're talking about Matt Stafford. Oh, yeah, Matt Stafford, he was in Detroit forever, couldn't do anything in NFL Siberia. He comes over to LA, and everything's working out right now. Everything's looking good. The Rams offense is gelling, is moving, is grooving, getting in the end zone, great scoring drives, blah, blah, blah. But now there's no excuses because, again, you're putting all your efforts into getting all these big names. All the chips are on the table. You understand that the Super Bowl is in your home stadium. You want to get there. So that's why they're going all in right now. The Rams are going all in. They're telling you that they believe this is the year. You get rid of Jared Goff. You replace him with Matthew Stafford because you feel like Matthew Stafford is the guy to get you that ring, not Jared Goff, who brought you to the Super Bowl 2018 with that historic offense. You bring in a guy like Von Miller to pair up with Aaron Donald. You also got Leonard Floyd. Jalen Ramsey's back there as well. Don't forget about him. So the defense solidified. Maybe they're not as good as last year, but they're still good, like in terms of talent. And then you're looking at the offense, like I said, lethal. And then you add Odell Beckham Jr. to that, who I believe will have a resurrection. There is no excuse for the Los Angeles Rams not to get this done. But guess what? I still think Tom Brady and the Bucs can beat these guys. I still have the Bucs as a favorite. I don't think getting Odell and Von Miller puts the Rams over the edge. I don't. If they play the Bucs right now, and I know the Rams beat the Bucs. I know that. But let's say it's the playoffs. Let's say it's January right now. I'm taking the Bucs. So I need to see it work from the Rams standpoint. They have no excuses because you're mortgaging your future. They have no future. Look at their draft picks. 0. Nowhere to be found. So when you're putting all your chips in the table and going all in on big stars, big names, you're LA, you want to shine bright like the Lakers, like the Dodgers. You're a contender. You are, for sure. Bona fide contender. Still might win the division, right? The Cardinals 8-1, Rams 7-2. You never know what's going to happen with that. So I'm just looking at it from the perspective of they want to get this done, so get it done. No excuses at all. If they don't manage to even make, look, I'm telling them they need to make the NFC Championship game. They need to make the NFC Championship game. If they don't make it there, they're on the fraud watch. And Sean McVay and Matt Stafford might very well be the fraud watch goats if they don't even manage to reach the third round. They have to reach the championship game. They have to. And the way it looks right now, though, they'd actually have a wild card game where they're on the road. They're the 5th seed. Remember, they're not leading their division. They might want to win that division, right? You don't want to play on the road the whole playoffs. So I don't know. Right now, it would be tough. If the playoffs started today, it would be tough to get through. But the Rams, I don't give them any leeway. Like, they have to get this done. Now, moving forward to Cam Newton. Cam Newton returns to Carolina. interesting move. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's back in the league. I think it's a better league with my guy Super Cam, and I hope he has, a resurrection in Carolina. I think Carolina right now they're last in the South, but they're not too far out of it. They're 4-5. Um, Falcons are 4-4. Saints 5-3, and then you got the Bucks at the top. I mean, when you're looking at the NFC, it's still wide open. It's wide open. So like at the tail end, I mean, the first five, like the top five seeds, I think everyone knows those guys are just a lot better than the rest of the conference. But when you're looking at the sixth seed and the seventh seed, it might look a lot different by the end of the season. So I'm seeing what Carolina is doing. They play really hard under Matt Rule. I like what they have in terms of talent. They have talent in their building, right? They do. They really do, but it just hasn't been working as of late. You're looking at the fact that they started the year undefeated. Remember that? And then I don't know where they went after this. You point to Sam Darnold. You point to the fact that he hasn't been playing good football at all this past month, right? And he was on the verge of being benched anyway. So, yes, it's unfortunate he got his shoulder injury. So he'll be out, 4 to 6 weeks, I believe. But he wasn't even playing well to begin with. And it seemed as if PJ Walker, the backup, he was going to come in and probably get some reps. We'll see. Maybe he still does. I don't know how Cam's going to be looking. I don't know if Cam's going to be the starter or if he's not. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. But if Cam does play, we're going to really have to see how he's going to throw the football, because this is obviously his last chance. This is his last chance for sure. Like if he doesn't look good here, it's over for Cam Newton in the NFL. He's been in the league for a while, north of a decade. I mean, it's good to see him back in Carolina, though. We'll see how it goes. They're not out of it, so maybe they feel like this move might get everything back into order in Carolina, especially for the offense. The defense is still pretty good. I mean, they've been having a good year, Carolina defense-wise. But yeah, I'm looking at it and I like it. I think Cam Newton belongs in Carolina. They love him in Carolina. So yeah, I like the move. Now, some teams to watch in the second half of the season. Just want to give you this. So I'm looking at four teams. Four teams to look at in the second half of the season. I'm looking at the Chargers, Titans, Patriots, and the Vikings right now. So the Chargers, why am I looking at them? A team to focus on the second half of the season. I think they're going to have a second half where they really start to make people understand that this is a really good football team. They started off hot. Justin Herbert was an early MVP type guy. Then they kind of went off the rails in certain games. So they're closer to 500 than we thought at the start of the season. But I think that Justin Herbert can lead these guys to the playoffs. I believe that the Chargers, with Brandon Staley, who's also vying for that Coach of the Year award, I think that they're going to improve for sure down the stretch. So look out for the Chargers. I think that they can make a run probably late in the year. And their division, I mean, look at their division. They still might win that division right now. The Raiders are at the top, but they're right behind them. We'll see what happens with Kansas City and then Denver. I mean, Denver's still hanging around, but yeah, I think the Chargers have a chance to really make things work. As for the Titans, I'm looking at how will they be without Derrick Henry. I do believe this is a bold prediction. I think Derrick Henry will come back before the end of the regular season. Yeah, I think so. And if not that, then he'll come back by playoff time for sure, especially if the Titans get the number one seed. Remember, the number one seed is the only seed that gets the bye. So that would help them out, just giving an extra week of rest for Derrick Henry. I think he'll come back, but how will they look without him? They looked really good against the Rams the other week. They're playing the Saints this week. I like Ryan Tannehill. You guys know what the deal is with Ryan. I think he's the most underrated quarterback in football. And by the way, I think the Titans have been, over the past few seasons, the most underrated team in football. No one talks about the Titans. I don't get it. I don't know why. You know what they remind me of? They remind me of when the Raptors were always in the playoffs, right? From 2014 through 2019, 2020. That's what the Titans are. They're a good team who doesn't get any credit. They remind me a lot of the 2019 Raptors in terms of them being a good team, but no one's talking about them. Why is that? Is that because they're in Tennessee? No one cares about Nashville? I thought Nashville was a big city. I thought people cared about the country music there. I thought people cared about, Derrick Henry and stuff, right? I know he's out, but this is still a good team. And I think the defense is starting to play better. You're looking at Simmons, who will be a Pro Bowler, Byard, who will be a Pro Bowler, one of the better safeties in football. This is a good team coached by a very solid coach in Mike Vrabel. So some people out there, you got to start giving them credit for what they're doing. They beat teams like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Rams. Hello. I mean, you're talking about the two teams that made the AFC Championship last year. They beat those two. And I get it. The Chiefs aren't playing like the Chiefs, but they beat them. They slaughtered them. They made them look, foolish out there. So I'm looking at that. They also swept the Colts. They kind of ended the Colts' chances to win the division, probably. We'll see it down the stretch, but the Titans are a good football team. And I think that honestly, they'll be okay. Without Derrick Henry, I believe they'll be okay. Will they end up with the 1 seed? Time will tell. I don't really think so, but I think they'll end up with the top 3 seed. Top 3 seed, excuse me. I think they'll end up with a top 3 seed entering playoff time. Patriots, they haven't really played or beaten anybody. They beat teams like the Texans, the Jets, all these teams out there. But I believe the Jaguars. But they have a guy in Mac Jones who is playing like a rookie of the year right now. So yes, certain wins on their schedule haven't been overly impressive because they beat up on bad teams. But let's face it, the Patriots are a team to watch. They're still in the race for the AFC East. Yes, they're right with the Bills. They're right behind the Bills right now. So you can't really tell if it's over for the Patriots yet. I wouldn't say it's done for the Patriots. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I believe that Bill Belichick, he gets these guys, his teams playing really good football in November and December. He doesn't care about the start of the year. That's why the Patriots started really slow. But as of late, what are we seeing? We're seeing a good football team right now in New England. So we'll see what happens with them. They're a team to watch. I think that they'll make a push for the playoffs for sure. And maybe, just maybe, they might win a playoff game. Who knows? And then the Vikings. The Vikings are 3-5, but they're better. I think they're better than that record. They're a team. They coming into the year, I was like, watch out for the Vikings. They might make the playoffs. Now they have a 27% chance to make the playoffs. I mean, and that really hurt. That loss to Baltimore really hurt their chances. But I think that Kirk Cousins has had a good season this year. His stats are there. I believe that Vikings fans, they're tired of him. I understand. Does he get those wins that you need? In the crunch, can he get those wins? Can he pull it out for you? Not always, but let's face it, he's had a good season stats wise. And I believe, honestly, if they can find a way to finish games, they can make a playoff push. They can try to get in the hunt and try to probably get one of those 6 or 7 seeds in the NFC. Can they finish? Can they finish games? That's the question. Because all of their losses have come from either a touchdown or less. So they've either lost by 1 point, by a field goal, or by a touchdown, right? When you're looking at all their 5 losses, that's tough. Certain things go differently. They might have a winning record right now, and we might be talking about the Vikings as a contender. You never know, right? Games against Dallas, Arizona, Cleveland, Cincy, like where do you start with this team? They can't finish games. If they find a way in the second half of the season to really get it done in the fourth quarter and pull out wins like they did against Detroit and Carolina, then they'll be okay. But I won't say they're done. I don't think that they're done. I think that the Vikings will make the playoffs. I do. Right? They might want to win a game. Remember, they're 3-5, so they might want to get back in that win column. But guess who's 7th in the NFC right now? It's Atlanta, and they're 4-4. So there's a lot of opportunity here for Minnesota. I'll say that. So moving on from the midseason outlook, I just want to get to the fraud watch, and then we'll end this thing. So the fraud watch, Jelani's fraud watch, you guys know what it is. You know what the deal is. So here are the Fraud Watch members for, my mid-season outlook. I think when you're looking at the first half of the season, there are three teams that come to mind that are currently Fraud Watch members. So we have the 49ers, the Dolphins, and yes, the Chiefs. So the Niners, I went off on them recently. They aren't good. The Niners are not a good football team right now. They're not. Can we be real? Nobody wants to flame Kyle Shanahan. No one wants to say the truth. No one wants to tell the truth in this case. He's 42-40 in 5 years with this team. If you take out that 1 year where they went to the Super Bowl in 2019, if you take that year out, this team has not done anything under Shanahan. It's ridiculous now. Okay? And guess what? They're 1-11, I believe, since 2020 at home. That's disgusting. That's terrible. Really and truly, that's terrible. So when you're looking at that, when you're looking at the record that Kyle Shanahan has posted, and the fact of the matter is, a lot of people had these, including myself. I had this being a playoff team. I don't see it. I don't see it right now from these guys. I had them being a playoff team, a team that could probably win a playoff game. I don't see that whatsoever. They're just a weird team. They'll say that they're banged up. Guess what? Look at the Ravens. Okay? Everybody in the NFL is banged up. That's not an excuse. The quarterback play has not really been great this year for Jimmy Garoppolo. And then you're looking at Trey Lance. Do you put him in there? Do you give him reps? Or do you leave him on the bench? There's so much going on in San Francisco that doesn't look good right now. So they're on the fraud watch for sure, just because some people had them going to the NFC Championship game. This is ridiculous because a lot of people said they're healthy now. They're coming in. New year. Kyle Shanahan. He's going to get these guys right. Whether if it's Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance in there, they're still going to play some good football. And look where they're at right now. Look where they're at. Third in their division. And I don't think they're going to be with Arizona or LA by the end of this. And maybe Seattle leapfrogs them in the standings because Russell Wilson is back now. What are they, 5-4, I believe? I don't like what I'm seeing from San Francisco. I just don't. It's disappointing. Truly, they're the most disappointing team in football, in my opinion. The Dolphins. The Dolphins are a team that also have been struggling. Yes, they beat the Ravens. Very good win. Their defense looks fantastic. They didn't let Lamar Jackson do anything. The problem I have with them is they were 10-6 last year. 10-6. They almost made the playoffs, guys. They were almost there. They haven't been as good this year. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's happened. A lot of people want to blame Brian Flores. I don't think it's solely his fault that things haven't worked out, but we thought that they would take a step forward. They would move forward and probably make some noise. Some people out there, some experts and some fans had the Dolphins in the playoffs. Yes, some people had the Dolphins battling the Bills for this division. Yes. But guess what? Is that happening right now? No. So they have taken a step back this season. The Dolphins aren't playing as well as we thought. And the quarterback situation, very weird. Jacoby Brissett, and then you got Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, they're banged up all the time. And then when they're healthy, you don't know who to play. It's like quarterback by committee right now in Miami. Their offensive line, I don't like. There's so many issues in Miami, and I don't know. You're looking, I hate to say it, you're looking at Deshaun Watson. They got to find a way. All right. If we're strictly talking about football right now, you got to find a way to get him. You have to. Or you're going to go in the offseason, try to get a guy like Russell Wilson, try to, make him come to Miami. Who else is probably going to leave? Aaron Rodgers might leave the Packers. You never know. You can try to get him. It's not a good quarterback class. I mean, I don't know. I like Tua. I think that they should stick with Tua. I think people are always too quick to move off of quarterbacks in the NFL. I think now that you're seeing Patrick Mahomes, he's winning MVPs, going to Super Bowl, blah 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 in his first 3 years. People are like, okay, if you can't do that, we're gonna move you. We're gonna move you or move on from you. I think that the NFL has to chill with that. I think the NFL has to get back to being a league that gave quarterbacks the opportunity to find themselves, test the waters, get through the trials and tribulations before becoming a star quarterback, right? Tua's still young. Tua's what? He's played what? 12 games? Come on. Like, give him some time. I think that they're trying to move off him so quick. The only guy, like I said, the only guys I'd probably move off of him for Deshaun Watson if everything's settled over there, or Russell Wilson if you find a way to, you know, get him. Like if he's frustrated in Seattle and wants out, I mean, you got to hop on that. But other than that, I just don't like what I've seen from the Dolphins at all this season. And last but not least, to end off this episode, Kansas City. What is going on with Kansas City? They were so look, we're at the midway point, right? We're at the midway point. You would think they're at, the first or second seed in the AFC right now. That's not the case. Are they even in the playoff picture? No, they're not. They're not. So they're 5-4. Offense not playing well at all. The defense hasn't been playing well this season either. They had a good game against the Packers, but guess what? Guess what? Jordan Love was playing. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers. So I can't really give them too much credit for that one. Honestly, I like the fact that they actually showed up for once. They showed up. They helped out the offense. But I'll say that, albeit against a rookie, I can't really give you that. And a rookie that hasn't had any reps, nothing. I don't really want to give you too much credit there, Kansas City. The play calling's been off. The offensive line. Remember the O line. They brought a lot of guys in this season, right? This offseason to help Patrick Mahomes, to protect Patrick Mahomes. They haven't done that. They haven't been playing well at all. Also, there's no running game in Kansas City. That's the big issue. There's no running game to be found. Remember, Edwards-Helaire hurt. Nowhere to be found, the running game. And that's caused issues in the passing game because Patrick Mahomes, he feels like he has to do, a lot more than asked, right? And this team's so Patrick Mahomes centric that a lot of burden is put on his plate. A lot of stuff is put on his plate. He has to deal with so much. And that's why he tries to force the ball. We're seeing a lot more interceptions, a lot more poor decision making when he's throwing the football, right? There's a lot of miscommunication. Remember, they don't have a wide receiver too. They don't, right? You have Travis Kelce at tight end, and you got Tyreek the Cheetah Hill at wide receiver. I've never viewed McCole Hardman as a wide receiver too. He cannot be the second best guy on your team at wide receiver. He can't. He can't. He can't. So you're looking at that Pringle. I mean, Robinson. These guys, they're not necessarily wide receiver twos that you want on their team. That's why I said they should try to get Odell Beckham Jr. in the building. That didn't work out for them. So, and remember, they tried to get Juju Smith-Schuster in the offseason because they understand they need a wide receiver too to go along with Tyreek Hill. Defenses, look, I don't really like saying this, but have they figured the Chiefs out? I'm gonna still, because remember, the Chiefs was my pick, so I have to back them up here. I believe that starting this Sunday night against the Raiders, the Chiefs will resurrect themselves, ladies and gentlemen. They will resurrect themselves. If not this Sunday, it will happen very soon, because I can't see them going out being a team like 8-9 record or a team with a 9-8 record. I find that this is a team capable of finding themselves, of going back to who they really are, and ending up a playoff team. I do think they're making the playoffs this year. So give me the Chiefs making the playoffs. Put it down right now. I know it's unclear. I know their division is tough. You're looking at the Chargers, who are probably going to make a late surge this season, like I said. You're looking at the Raiders, who are currently first in the division, like I said, right? They're playing good football. Derek Carr, shout out to you. Just added Deshaun Jackson, by the way. I thought they should. That was my favorite to get Odell, the Raiders, but they didn't. They're there. And then the Broncos. The Broncos have a very, very good defense. We saw what they did to the Cowboys. You never know. If Teddy Bridgewater If he ends up playing well like he did in Dallas, maybe the Broncos make a late push and get in the hunt for a playoff spot if Teddy Two Gloves can play like that. So, yeah, the Chiefs, you're on the fraud watch right now. As we speak right now, you're on the fraud watch. And that is shocking because I love Patrick Mahomes. I've always defended Patrick Mahomes and these Chiefs, but right now I can't defend them. I can't. You got to play good football. We've expected a lot more from you guys. So we'll see what happens. But that is it for today. Thank you for watching the show. Yes, it went longer than expected, honestly. I thought I was going to make it a quick one, but it wasn't. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the show. Enjoy your football, enjoy your basketball. Obviously, there's other sports. Shout out to Man U, not really looking good right now for us. But yeah, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your rest of the week next week. And I will see you next time on Read Between the Lines.